your photos completely out of order? Maybe old photos are appearing as new, your holiday photos are mixed in with last week's pictures, or scanned photos are showing up in the wrong place altogether. In this video, I'll show you the most common reasons this happens and the different ways you can fix it. And stick around to the end because I'll show you the first thing I check when a client's photos are out of order. Why photos end up out of order. So why does this happen in the first place? In my experience, it usually comes down to just a handful of common causes. If you've downloaded a photo from WhatsApp, the photo may have been taken years ago, but when you save it to your phone, it will pick up the date you downloaded it, rather than the date it was originally taken. So an old photo can suddenly appear at the top of your library as if it was taken today. The same thing can happen with photos copied from an old SD card or camera. The photo may have been taken in 2012, but if it was transferred to your computer in 2026, some software will use that transfer date instead. Sometimes the issue is the camera itself. If the camera clock was set incorrectly or the wrong time zone was selected, every photo could end up with the wrong date and time attached to it. And scanned photos are another common culprit. Depending on the scanner or software you're using, the photo will often pick up the date it was scanned rather than the date the original photograph was taken. How to fix the dates. So how do you fix these date issues? Although these all look like different problems, they're usually caused by one of three date issues. The photo has the wrong date, the photo has the correct date but the wrong time or time zone, or the photo doesn't have a date at all. Once you know which of these you're dealing with, fixing the problem becomes much easier. Problem 1, the photo has the wrong date. The first problem is the photo has a date, it's just the wrong one. This is really common with photos downloaded from WhatsApp. For example, you went to a gig on a Friday and you all shared your photos by WhatsApp, but you didn't download all those photos to your phone until Sunday because you were still recovering from all the excitement. Your phone now thinks the photo was taken on Sunday, not Friday. The good news is that this is usually one of the easiest date problems to fix because all you need to do is change the date back to when the photo was actually taken. On Apple Photos, select the photo and tap the I button at the bottom of the screen. Next to the date and time, tap Adjust. Enter the correct date and time, then tap Adjust again to save your changes. In Google Photos, press and hold the photo or video, then from the menu that appears, scroll across until you find Edit Date and Time. Tap the date to change the date the photo was taken, or tap the time if you need to adjust the time. Once you're happy with the changes, tap Save. Once you've changed the date, the photo will move into the correct place in your timeline automatically. Problem 2, the photo has the wrong time zone. This one is a little different. The photo already has the date and time attached to it, but it's been recorded in the wrong time zone. For example, if you took photos in New York, but your camera was still set on UK time, all of your photos could be several hours out. In this case, you don't want to replace the date, you just want to shift all the photos by the correct amount of time. Apple Photos makes this quite straightforward. Select the photo and tap the I button at the bottom of the screen. Choose Adjust next to the date and time. Below the calendar, you'll see the current time zone. Tap on it and search for the time zone you want to change the photo to. Once you've selected the correct time zone, tap Adjust to save the change. Apple Photos will then update the photo and place it in the correct position in your timeline. Unfortunately, Google Photos doesn't currently have a dedicated time zone adjustment option. If your photos are a few hours out because of a time zone issue, you'll need to work out the time difference and manually adjust the time. If you're working with lots of photos on a computer, specialist tools can make this much faster. On a Mac, a better find attributes allows you to shift dates and times across large groups of photos. To change the time zone, start by dragging your photos or the folder containing your photos into the data area. You can also use the plus button to browse for and add them. Under Actions, select Adjust File Creation and File Modification Date. Next, choose whether you want to add time or remove time, depending on what correction you need to make. Then enter the amount of time you want to shift the photos by. In this example, I'm adding 2 hours. Once you're happy with the settings, click Perform Changes. On a Windows PC, Photo Date Changer offers similar functionality and can save a huge amount of manual editing. Start by dragging and dropping your photos into the data window, or use the plus button to browse for and add your images. Under Actions, select Adjust JPEG XAF Timestamp. Next, choose whether you want to add or remove time. Then enter the amount of time you want to shift the photos by. This could be days, hours, minutes, or seconds. In my example, I'm simply adding 2 hours. Once you're happy with the settings, click Perform Changes. Whatever tool you're using, this is where the magic happens. The software updates the dates and times across all the selected photos, helping them drop back into the correct place in your photo collection. If you're trying to get on top of thousands of photos across your phone, computer, and cloud storage, that's exactly what I cover in my Photo Mess Success courses. You can find out all the details at photomesssuccess.co.uk. Problem 3, the photo has no date. The final problem is that the photo doesn't have a useful date at all. This is very common with scanned photos and images from websites or social media. In these cases, there often isn't a correct date hidden away somewhere. The photo simply doesn't know when it was taken. The good news is that you can add a date yourself. One of my favorite tools for this is Adobe Bridge because it's completely free and works on both the Mac and Windows. Start by opening the folder containing your photos using the folder panel on the left-hand side. Select the photo or photos you want to update, then go to Edit at the top of the screen and choose Edit Capture Time. From here, you can enter the date you want to use. If you don't know the exact date, don't worry. I often use the 1st of January for the year or decade that I know the photo was taken. It's not perfect, but it's much better than having the photo sitting in completely the wrong place. Once you've entered the date, click Change and Adobe Bridge will update the photos for you. Over in the metadata panel, you'll see that the date created and date time original fields have been updated, helping those photos fall back into the correct place in your photo collection. Now, if you've got 3 photos to fix, that's one thing. If you've got 3,000, that's a very different problem. In these situations, tools like the EXIF tool can help automate the process and save hours of manual work. I've got a full video on the EXIF tool if you'd like to go down that route. Check it out up here. Bonus tip: how I diagnose incorrect dates in under 30 seconds. My quick tip is to look at the dates and times on the groups of photos rather than just one. If every photo has exactly the same date and the times are only a few seconds apart, that's often a clue that the photos were copied, scanned, or imported at the same time rather than being given their original dates. On the other hand, if the dates look sensible but everything's a few hours out, you're probably dealing with a time zone issue. And if the dates are completely wrong but vary from photo to photo, it's usually a sign that the photos need redating and a bit of detective work to figure out when they were actually taken. Spending just 30 seconds looking for these patterns can often tell you which fix you need before you make any changes at all. If you've fixed the dates on your photos, the next step is making them easier to find. Then check out this video next, where I show you how to bulk rename your photos. So instead of ending up with file names like image1234, you can create a much more organized and searchable photo collection. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more photo organizing tips. Have fun rediscovering your memories. I'll see you in my next video.